Hi, everybody. I'm Sod,
And I'm Punk.
and I'm definitely not a
A
Popufur. You were
So
holding
close.
back deliberately.
So close.
You were
I didn't know how fast you were going, okay?
just the same as we do it every episode. What we got into tonight, Brain? So
The same thing every night.
try and do a successful podcast. And most importantly, yes, since I'm definitely not a Popufur, is this show where every single episode we invite someone in to walk us through their journey into the furry fandom, given that I'm so new at this. Puck has been at this for 15 years, and everyone's journey is unique and distinct and interesting, and we want to do our best to try and capture all those stories. And our guest today is one of the most celebrated mascot and fursuit performers in the history of the fandom. They have created suits for so many people. They've created countless iconic characters. They have been to over 100 different cons, well over 100 at this point now. They are just absolutely seminal. They are someone we've had on our list for the longest time. And the fact that they're sitting right here across the microphone from us is just nothing short of spectacular. If you could all please put your paws together and please welcome Yippee Coyote. Yippee, how you doing?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. And thanks for quite the intro there.
Yeah. Well, it's true. Like it's the thing. I've heard so many stories about you, Loki, even like from doing this podcast, which has been fantastic. And it's just like it's just been just a menagerie of things. And although I will say, like before we get into it, I like to do my research on our guests beforehand. And one thing is that I've noticed that you don't, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, you don't typically do a lot of interviews, or do you?
Not so much really. I don't know. I just haven't had opportunity, I guess. No one's really asked or whatnot. Not in a while.
Yeah. Well, we're happy that you took the time to be here with us. Genuinely, profoundly, truly.
Yeah, thanks for
Uh,
inviting me. Uh-huh.
yeah. Well, I would say, like, at the end of the day, the question at the center of this podcast is genuinely how did you get into the furry fandom? And I would say that for this one, it's been alleged, at least as far as I could tell, that for you, this was something that started approximately, roughly in the vein of around 1990? Is that
Yep,
correct?
that you would be correct. I kind of publicly mark my entry into fandom as August 4th, 1990. My origin story comes from two angles. First off is from the during the black and white comics revolution of the 80s. Toward the end of that, I had followed a few comic artists, including an artist by the name of Ken Micheloni, who did
Hmm.
a comic called Space Arc. And he was at a convention I was recommended to go to. It was called TachyCon, sort of play off of Tachyons. And it was a sci-fi convention in DeLand, Florida, like in the shadows of Daytona Beach.
Hmm.
And when I was there, he had just come back from LA. He was working on Tiny Toons as a artist there. And he had seen my artwork before and says, you know, you should check out Rob Razzle. And I'm like, my brain is like, I have no idea. So when I get back to
What
college,
even is that word?
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
When I get back to college, I was in college at the time, and I checked on the news groups, which is how you learn about things, Usenet news groups. And there was one called, I asked around in Rec Arts Comics, what's Rob Razzle? And a guy from California, from the fanzine Yarf, replied explaining what it was, and also, do you want to check out Yarf? And, next thing you know, I've got the first six issues on the way in the mail to me. So on the
That's a
other side, well,
yes.
if you have any questions on that, we can get to the other side. If
Yeah, no, that's great. No, what's the other side? I'm curious.
the other side, in the summer of 1990, I was invited to. I don't know if you've heard of a multi-user dungeon called Tiny Mud. It's
I've
sort
heard
of
of the
tech.
muck dungeons, not Tiny Mud
Yeah,
specifically.
that's
No,
the
yeah.
original multi-user dungeon.
Hmm.
It's basically a text adventure, but it's multiplayer, and you type out things, and you go into rooms that have descriptions to them, like you would find in a text adventure game.
Hmm.
But these are all created by people on the mud. Now, later on, I met some people on another place called Islandia, and they wanted to start their own multi-user Kingdom, whatever Muck really stands for. And they
Uh-huh.
the first thing was they had sort of this generic theme, and I was one of the wizards there, so I built some of it. Didn't really have a cohesive theme, so it kind of fell flat.
Mm.
They regrouped and said, "We're going to do another take on things. We're going to try it again." And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to sit back and see how this goes. I don't want to like get too involved in it." That was Furry Muck. I could have been a wizard there,
Hmm.
but it's a multi-user text adventure that is created and built by the people who participate in it, and it's been going ever since. So over 36 years now,
Oh,
something like
wow.
that. Yeah.
Still ongoing? That's incredible.
Yeah, and I forgot my password. Otherwise, I would have logged on
Oh,
there.
man.
Yeah,
All right. If anyone remembers, I'm not a Popufur podcast at gmail.com. Let us know how we can reset. That'd be great.
yeah. The character's name is Bunnell. He is object number 45.
Okay. We're gonna get our best tech team on it. They're furries. They work in IT. They'll know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So with especially with the sex-based dungeons, was this furry specific? Was it anthropomorphic animals all the way through, or were there other elements to it?
The other ones like Islandia, which was an outgrowth of next spawn off of Tiny Mud, was more. It had more fantasy elements, so there were animal characters in there. And then Furry Muck was fully furry,
Mhm.
with furry characters and people role playing as characters from cartoons and comics, etc.
Yeah. Was there one that was your favorite back in the day? Like one that you immediately like drew to or had a connection with?
Well, I think I first started out playing Captain Stone from Ken Matroni's Space Arc.
Mm.
Eventually I invented my own, who's a bunny character. I had been kind of drawing myself as off and on, and as a name I picked up the name Bunnell, which is a small town in Florida, which I'd never been to, but it sounds like bunny, and I figured it works. Benton R. Bunnell, or just
Listen,
Bunnell.
as a fellow Rabbit Sona enjoyer and haver, I can say nothing but endorse that. That is a fantastic way to get started on it there. That's really cool. Was this around the time there was something called Necronomicon?
Yes, Necronomicon. That was a
Necronomicon.
sort of more horror-based convention out of Tampa, held in October. That was like the second event I went to, and actually went to a furry party. I want to say
Oh,
that the
cool.
crew that I met, I originally met them in DeLand at TackyCon,
Hmm.
and I just kind of kept in contact with them, and occasionally I actually went down to Sarasota, Bradenton, south of Tampa, where they all hung out and lived, and would spend the weekend with them. And from there, I ended up, getting in real, close friendships there with the folks there.
Hmm.
Went to the furry party at Necronomicon, and one of them, who I think they go by Chipotle Coyote now. Uh, Hey, we're both unemployed. We have credit cards and you've got a car. Let's go to conference. So in January, we plotted our
That's how it
trip
starts.
from Tampa to SoCal. And only when I got in the guy's car, he says, "Oh, I have a stick shift." And I've never driven stick before, so
Oh,
I had
no.
a crash course. Thankfully, not literally crash course,
Yeah.
but 44 hours later, we found ourselves in SoCal,
Jesus
exhausted.
Christ, dude. My God. Oh, wow. 44 hours. Okay. So then you got there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this was kind of an eye opener because um, when I found Route Browser, I joined the wait list there and got to, which consisted of you get the newsletter part of it before but the actual APA portion, the content portion, you don't get until you're a full member. But I
Okay.
got the updates, and which had a mailing list of with phone numbers of all the members and waitlisters. So I got to get to know them through that and through the comic fanzine Yarf, to get to know some of the people, including a good friend who I ended up moving in with, or he moved in with me, by the name of John Nonamaker. who currently goes by the name Walden Wild. He's a raccoon who
Yes, yes, yes.
used to be known as Cooner.
Hmm. I
You know,
know that was
he
a fairly recent update he did to his name too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He kind of like asked permission because I have a reindeer character named Walden as well. So it's like it's
Hmm.
fine. I post
Yeah.
on my socials like I'm I'm Walden J. Whitetail and I approve this message.
Yeah. That's perfect. So I guess to this end, so you're with the furries. This is like early days. You're discovering these room parties. At what point for you did it transition from like, meeting these people and seeing the art in these magazines and whatnot, and eventually making your way to putting on, not even yours maybe, but putting on a fursuit head for the first time? At what point was there a transition? Or I
Yeah,
guess at that, go ahead, sorry.
this was
Yeah.
mostly comics based, art based, and story based. There were very few people doing fursuits.
Mm,
There was I can remember at conference there were like a few couple fursuiters that I've mentioned. Um, Ed Klein, Ben Camacho, Lance Igagawa, I think had started by then, and two better known folks are Sean Keller and Robert Hill, Valky.
hmm
Both of those two have roots with Disneyland. I think they were both receiving instruction from someone with the Disneyland costuming department.
mm,
Both, but I this is like my first intro to like what actual costumers are doing, and I was like, yeah, my background comes from cartoons, but I also love mascots and theme park characters, and it never
mm,
quite the stars never lined up for me to actually pursue that. But I got the idea that I can make my own mascot.
hmm
So in '94, I did with a little help from my mom. It was kind of like this shabby looking wolf named Woodruff. It's got a
hmm
gray and white fun fur with some pieces of foam supporting a vague head shape.
hmm
But all the idea is like what is possible, and just like open up itself up to me. But it wasn't until '94 since that I built my first costume, and '95, '96 until I got some hands-on help and building, and that's when I built Yippee.
mm. What was it like wearing Woodruff for the first time?
It was pretty cool. I auditioned for my college mascot, Albert the Alligator at the University of
Hmm.
Florida. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
But I didn't get the job, which is probably a good thing because I was like nearly failing out as an engineering student. Uh, but
Uh-huh.
in '93, was it '93? '94, a mutual friend of mine and Croc is my longtime partner and friend who was also in this mascot enthusiast as I am.
Hmm.
Uh, introduced us we were introduced online by a friend in Indiana that we were both in Gainesville at Florida, and we met up and hung out at the computer lab. And when time came that I premiered my costume, he took me around the campus and got pictures at different locations, including the stadium and uh, arena and whatnot. But that was like I was the guy. I was immersed into the character, and it's just so natural for me that just like I will slip myself into character and just become that. I became
Hmm.
that wolf who was vaguely based on Crunch, the Timberwolves mascot.
Hmm. And like that's kind of a thing I kind of wanted to jump off to is
Hmm.
because, we could talk about other things later, Richter the Cyber Dog, so many of the other creations that you've
Oh,
had over the
yeah.
years. Oh, we'll get to Richter, rest
Yeah.
assured. He is adorable. But you are also you've been known, and not to blow you up too much here, but I will say that you are known pretty well as like one of the go-to people for mascotting, for suiting, and for character creation specifically. And from the sound, did you have like theatrical leanings, performing chops early on, or is this something that just fully developed as soon as you were in that mascot mindset?
It kind of was like slowly brewing under the surface. I grew up as such a horribly shy kid. I
Hmm.
just had no real outlets for it. I remember actually going to the athletic department at Florida and just kind of meekly going, how do I be the mascot? Oh boy, I get blushed just thinking about that. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but put on a costume. I just immerse myself in that, and I become that's like the idealized self. The me without the getting out of my own way. Not overthinking
Hmm.
things. That kind of one of my favorite quotes, Oscar Wilde. Man is least himself when speaking in his own person. Give him a mask, he will tell you the truth.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I think that I use that a lot when I'm talking about character performance. But I also think that if you ever look at the comment section on a YouTube video, that all of those people speaking with under masks and people know who they are, they get pretty vile.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. It is the thing where, like, even like again, for me who came in from like the digital streaming space, though, it has been the thing where I've had other streamers ask me of like, hey, I had a good stream and like I had all these people that were just so nice and said a lot of nice things, but I had that one comment that really, really got to me and all, stuck with me, and like, that slightly mean one that just kind of sits in your head like a thorn. And it's like, they know the adage of like, you can get 1,000 pieces of praise and like you will still always remember that one negative person, that one naysayer, that whatever. But for me, it's like you're also streaming as a furry sona too. So because you are in a sense being your most authentic version of yourself, when you get a comment like that, when you get something that like this is tired, old man, whatever, like the people want to throw out there, and also get better insults, they're not very creative. Like whenever people do that, it's like it hurts that little bit more because it's you as your unvarnished self. So sometimes it might actually have that like heightened sense to it, though. But it's like it's true. It's so wild that especially in this fandom, you're putting on layers and layers of fabric and feeling the most free and uninhibited you've ever been. It's just the dichotomy is so fascinating, and I think will forever be fascinating to me.
yeah, it's a fascinating story of this. We're all out there creating our own visions of ourselves and our best selves out there, and
Yeah.
sometimes that comment will cut you to the bone, and that'll
Hmm.
be memorable. But you just got to keep going.
Right.
On a side tangent, that around 2007, there was a big debate about people running around with their fursuit heads off. Now, I came from a
Mm.
very mascot style, mascot theme park, no speaking, no taking your head off, kind of not break the magic, break the character. And people got really upset when I suggested that we should stick with that. And some friends of mine were more staunchly, they just wanted to press that as it should be this way. And I'm like, you know, we all have to live in this fandom. We all have to get along. And I can't
Mm.
dictate to someone how they should fursuit. All I can do is
Hmm.
do what I enjoy, and the people who enjoy what I do, will emulate what I do and hope or give it a try and see if that's to their liking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a while for speaking characters to come along, and that's something that's another art form that I'm not exactly the greatest at, but I try. I have some speaking characters, but to the point that at conventions I'll speak mostly in character if I'm in suit, or
Hmm.
just pull someone aside and talk in quiet tones and not as in the character. But
Right.
one experiment that I want to stick to is that my main character Yippee, I built him as a mascot, and so I want to
Mhm.
stick to that. And just at this uh, further confusion back in January, I took him out several times, and I stuck to it. I was like completely not speaking, just
Mm.
and just having to pantomime everything and carrying on a conversation and get people to understand what I was saying by throwing out pantomime clues to it. These days, people don't have that much, patience to see and converse with a non-speaking character, and it sparked so much joy in me that some people would, interact with me on that level with that
Right. But
traditional, yeah.
Yeah, but also at the same time, like you've gone to many international cons as well, too. And the one thing that is kind of uniting thing is that by being a nonverbal performer, you then speak this universal language of physical expression where you could still, it doesn't matter what language you are. People will know, oh, he's referencing a hat. Oh, there's a bucket. Like, like you can, there's all these things that you could still do with the character and then find the joy in how those different characters speak to each other. Actually, that's actually a good pivot too, because Punk, you have a variety of characters, you have a variety of costumes as well. Do you prefer being nonverbal with your characters, or because obviously on
Um,
streams and stuff you have to be speaking, but like where does your preference lie?
yeah. So I'm with you, Yippee. I come from a mascot background as well, and to me, talking in costume, even at a convention, just feels weird. I get in
Yeah.
this because it's a switch for me. Like I feel like you get the probably get the same thing. Is like once you put that head on, it's just automatic. Like you are that character, and sometimes it's just kind of like your body's. For me, it's like it prevents you from speaking almost because you're like so in that headspace. But like my Bentley character I'm bringing to FWA, he doesn't speak. He's very animated. My character Mortem, he speaks, but he's more of like a plague doctor. Like he's just a man.
Okay. Hmm.
And then my old character Jack, he was just like wolf, and he spoke, but he spoke more in a New Yorker accent, like a more thicker one than I typically do. But it's kind of like I have characters that feel that they don't need to speak. It's all just body language. And I agree. Some people don't have the patience anymore to sit there and, try
Decipher.
to understand. Because I've had times where I've like come in contact with suitors who don't speak, and it's just like a game of charades, and I'm trying so hard to understand. And like eventually I get there, and it's just I don't know. I like not speaking in character. I feel like it's more fun. It tests my
Mhm.
improv skills, and you can just do really funny moments, I think, or
Oh
have
yeah,
funny moments.
yeah, something I enjoy is like if I'm if Yippie's out there and I'm just looking around for things that if I catch someone's attention, someone looking at me, I'll pay more attention to them, or something's going on. I try to like figure a way to nudge my way into a situation, into a potentially fun situation. Like someone sitting alone, I'll just sort of you know sidle up next to them and just sort of look around. It's like, oh hi, and just almost have a little conversation, but just as a it not speaking,
Mm,
and that's a
Mhm.
challenge to it. And you bring up a good point about accents that an accent cool can congeal the character in your mindset when you're speaking in that accent that it'll perpetuate the character in your mind just
mm,
as well as like carrying yourself a certain way uh, uh, with a particular set, say, expression, a way of walking or skulking or have what have you, just keep you in that mindset.
mm,
Well, I think that's a good question too, because you have done a job of creating a lot of different characters. I'm still stuck on like my one and only Sona right now. That is safety for me. There is not much difference between the Sona and me, if any at all. And I'm very okay with that. But like you have such a wide variety of different characters and personalities on there. Is there when you're ever designing or creating these, or does it always start like from a like an actual drawing or design that you have in your mind? Does it come from like a new gesture set that you're trying out? Like how does the character creation process start for you in these instances?
It's been a while since I actually created something. I more have accumulated, collected or accumulated more costumes that of pre-existing characters. And I try to put my own spin on things.
Hmm.
But as far as from scratch, I have a few characters that I concepts that I haven't really delved too much into. I've like sketches from uh, long time sketches of these characters that for example, one of them is a skunk. I had the idea of what if I gave a skunk double yellow lines, stripes, and he looked like a road, and his name,
Uh-huh.
one of the proposed names is De Road, or asphalt. And
Mm.
I didn't. One name kind of stuck out to me. Call him Rhodey, and he could be a rocker, and maybe wear like a leather vest and want to be rock star type character. But I hadn't
Yeah.
gotten beyond that point. 'Cause, I've got all these characters, but I keep accumulating more costumes and other characters that I want to invest time into the characters I already have. It can be tough, but yeah, some of them come from drawings or concept that I have. Some are kind of born.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, that leads, if you don't mind, that kind of
mhm.
leads to a bit of a side tangent. Then I need to ask the most, like a very question I'm sure has been asked over the eons and ages. What was the I'm sorry, what was the fursuit mailing list?
Back before we really had more live interaction things, it was a an email list that you could either get as a digest, which compiles all the messages people had sent during the day into one single message, or
Hmm.
as individual emails that would come from the sender directed to all the members on the mailing list. And it started out as a Robert King had started that and actually coined the term fursuit for the list, and it was just a lot of sharing techniques and experiences of building fursuits, and it was more focused on building
Hmm.
and
Okay.
kind of leading off of that because there was an outlet for showing off the costumes just as a craftsmanship, there was a idea of a masquerade from sci-fi and uh, fantasy horror conventions. They would have the masquerade, but there wasn't really anything more focused on performing. And that's
Hmm.
where Robert King had started the furry variety show at a local Chicago area convention called DuckCon,
Hmm.
which had it had a brewing fursuit furry track that I was actually guest of honor in '94, I think.
That's
Eventually to the
cool.
point of I think it was '98 that DuckCon was like, your track is going to become too big. Go get your own convention. That's how Midwest Fursuit started.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Just outgrowths of outgrew the host convention, so get your own, and that's how MFF started.
That's really, really cool. That's amazing. Okay, okay, okay. There are so many stories and tangents and things to get into. I'm sorry, I need to go back to what we were talking about before. 2000 to 2002, San Jose earthquakes, California, Richter the cyber dog. How did that come to be?
Oh my gosh, that was well. I moved up to the Bay from LA Burbank in '99 with the
Hmm.
intent of auditioning with the San Francisco Giants.
Hmm.
I wasn't selected. They had picked a young punk out of the Philly area, and he's still Lucille with the Giants. But I was asked to be his escort for game days. So I got to see the inner workings of a Major League Baseball game and backdrop. But from there, I didn't perform Lou except for some outside appearances. But it got me hooked on the whole mascot thing, which was like my first, it was my first crack at the majors.
Hmm.
After that season, as when 2000 rolled around, I found that the local soccer team, the San Jose Clash, were in reinventing themselves as the San Jose Earthquakes. And so I contacted them, what are your plans on mascots? And I got in touch with uh, the community relations manager, who was the essentially the non-game day mascot for boss for the mascot. And she like introduced me to the character they'd already designed, and I was like, "Whoa!" It was pretty incredible. I'd seen a previous character of similar basis, basically looking like a cartoon character wearing like cyber armor. This is a mouse named Click for the San Jose Lasers, women's basketball team.
This sounds amazing already, I'll
Yeah.
just say. Yeah.
And she described Rick as looking something like out of what was it? There's a musical on roller skates called like Starlight Express, I think.
Yes, yes, exactly. Starlight Express. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's how she described it. And I was like, this guy's crazy. But I mean, he's like super cyber armor, but also a puppy. And I'm like, this is yeah, I just like puppy. I can do this. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to do this. I need to do this. And I just poured my heart and soul into this character, just trying to capture that sort of ride the line between being a badass and being a puppy.
Hmm.
And
And
they never gave an excuse for why a puppy, but I figure that yeah, dogs can predict earthquakes. That's what my personal headcanon.
nice. And I've seen footage of you. I think there's some on your YouTube channel of you performing as Richter. And I think you post some on your Blue Sky on occasion too. And it's just like, there is such this just energy that just emanates out of him. That's so good. I think I even saw one clip recently where it's like you were chatting with some people up in the bleachers, and then some young kid comes and like tries pulling on your tail really hard, and you like turn around, you like, joke tackle them or whatever. Like it's just like there's just this joy that emanates out of it too. But also it's like, as I was watching it, I'm like, man, this character's so energetic. But as soon as you said puppy, as it just immediately clicked for me, like that's you found the nexus of that character. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
got it, good,
Boiled it down
yeah,
to that. And
yeah.
I had some years of experience down in LA as a theme park character. I worked at Six Flags where I
Oh,
played Bugs Bunny, Wile E. Coyote, and occasionally Foghorn Leghorn.
oh. Did
And
you have a
just
favorite of the three?
I always enjoyed Wile E, but I mean Foghorn was such a different style. He was like big burly character, had a lot of weight to him. He's like
Hmm.
hulking around. And when you uh if you've got a like a body pod in there that and you are bigger than your normal shape, you and that's the extent of your body, that uh it triggers something in your head that that you're bigger than life, that has and that will get you going. That will feed your inner character of just the what your character is all about.
Hmm.
Just that whole pretend thing. Pretend is very important.
100%. 100. I mean, I think is that not the name of the workshop that you do on occasion, The Power of Pretend?
Yeah, I did that at Anthrocon a few times a number of years back, and I wanted to try and get people to think more on a performing aspect, but not as a like clowning around, but try to hook on people's desire to be something more than their persona can be more than themselves. I was
Hmm.
quoted in one an article about it's more than this is me but better, me but better, something
Hmm.
beyond yourself. The idea that this persona can epitomize the things you like about yourself, or things that you want to be, more outgoing, more energetic, and through that it can feed back into yourself. I became more outgoing through all the mascot character performing I did.
Yeah. Well, and I need to ask though, like of this era, like you were, you're Richter the Cyber Dog, you're doing these characters up at Six Flags there. It was between that and also your, times when you're going up to for conventions and sitting with people that might be in need of a friend or something else. Were there certain types of specific interactions or experiences that come to mind that like really kind of cemented some of these characters for you, whether as mascot or as fursuiter?
Well, something that just touches my heart is just seeing a kid who's like real hesitant about the character, and at theme parks or when I was a mascot, just kind of like getting down to their level and kind of like not really approaching them, but just sort of laying a paw out or waving at them to try and get their trust. And that they have a bubble of protection around them that they don't want you interfering with. But as they get more trusting, that bubble shrinks down to the point that they're slapping your paw with a small hand, a small
Hmm.
hand, and from there that their world is expanded to this character is not a danger. It's something lovable and just goes in for that hug, and that's kind of like the win. You hit
Hmm.
the character, the kid just their mind opens up to this pretend character.
Yeah. Well, it's also you're in that interesting world where you with Richter, like you're kind of taking on this character that is being created with obviously with these Looney Warner Brothers property characters. You're inhabiting these, kind of established tropes and types, but you've also created characters from scratch. In fact, March 22nd, I think, is a very important day because for me,
I figured
that
you're going to mention that.
well, for me, that's my birthday. So let's just be so number
Yeah,
one, that is just kismet right there, which is
yeah.
fantastic. But on Easter Saturday, March 22nd, 2008, you premiered a character that other people have told me is one of their all-time favorites of yours, which
Oh gosh,
is
that
Twilight.
is
Twilight,
Twilight.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The
Oh yeah.
incredible purple, delightful rabbit.
Oh my
How,
gosh.
what? I just mentioning a
I
rabbit.
know, I
This is
know.
crazy.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, as sort of a backstory on him, that
Hmm.
well, when I moved, well, I started with a rabbit fursona, who I never really wanted to explore as a fursuit because it was just me,
Right.
me as a rabbit, portrait of the artist as a young bunny. When I moved to California from Florida in '95, I wanted to reinvent myself. So I invented a new fursona, who was a coyote, but oddly enough, it wasn't Yippee. He didn't come along until '96. He was Yippee was the mascot I've always wanted to be, and I actually like sent in a tape to the Phoenix Coyotes to since they were looking for a mascot that they never pursued it until like mid 2000s. But
Heck yeah.
all through the time when I was doing art, I always had this. I wanted to stay kind of squeaky clean, keep everything G-rated and stuff. And toward the late '90s, I was like questioning my own sexuality. So I'd been kind of straight, but maybe closeted up some. And through the early 2000s, I was exploring that more, but I wanted a character that I could flirt with. And for a little while, in 2007, uh, I got a fursuit secondhand from a friend who had a character I really loved. He was a fox. I got him and went to Further Confusion 2007, got to flirt with people as this character who people didn't know. And I was, I was worried about, rejection, but all the people are like that I interacted with, like, oh my gosh, this guy's really cute and fun and very, very flirty. And when I told them it was me, that they was like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. And it had kind of burgeoned to that idea of what if I had a character who's flirty, but people knew it was me. And, and that's kind of where one of the parts that led into Twilight, that I wanted a character who was cute and flirty, and originally wanted one that people thought that people would like crush on, and
Hmm.
eventually that did happen. But it became more about me feeling myself as worthy of being crushed on, that I could be cute and sexy like that,
Yeah.
and it was something that built me up in that aspect. And
You,
as I was building him, when I got him enough that his head was mostly finished and his body was kind of finished, I put the pieces on and looked in the mirror, and as if Twilight's voice in my head said, Jimmy, you've always been a bunny.
man.
Yeah, that's a pretty mind-blowing
Man.
thing that that happened with me. And I originally was going to make him a non-speaking character, but eventually over time, well, I had in 2009, I was asked to participate in a stage show as a genie character, which kind of played into Twilight's kind of headcanon, because he has
Hmm.
an
Hmm.
earring. It was originally a golden earring, as an in-joke to the song Twilight Zone by Golden Earring. Until that was too heavy.
Yeah.
It was brass and knocked everyone in their head, so it switched it to a little glow stick
Hmm.
wristband. But Where was I going with this?
Well, I mean, we're talking about mainly just the creation of Twilight Bunny
Yeah,
altogether, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. He had a speaking part in this, and I had to develop a like a voice on the fly. So it kind of became a just a Bugs Bunny without the accent.
Hmm.
Say, Jimmy, you've always been a bunny. Hi, my name's Twilight. It's a pleasure to meet you. Oh,
I
don't be shy.
say what you really feel. Like all the, it's just like it's just so great because the one thing that I'm finding, at least in just speaking to people, is that uh people use the sonas for different things. I think, last time on the last episode that we had, Cuddle Pup was asking me about the creation of mine, and it's just like, a lot of people have them sometimes as aspirational aspects, much as how you're describing with Twilight. But also Cuddle Pup had other sonas, which were like ones that spoke more to his anxiety, more that spoke to some, this anger. And there are some people that I know who have like, like people that have had three different sonas, and like one's kind of like my, individualized personal self, and one is like the one that has dealt with all my trauma for me. And it's just so fascinating to me. I have not gotten into that area yet with my journey of like having these things embody the parts that are, either aspirational of you or other things like that. But to find that in you, and I would imagine there was probably a journey you had to go through. The more you became Twilight, the more you became this flirty, cute, just joyful being, the more you realize that that power that character possesses is actually available to you outside of suit, but that may not have been apparent immediately. Or am I getting that journey wrong?
You've got it pretty spot on there. That I felt more outgoing with this by expressing my flirtiness. That playful, more adult oriented nature, more and that I could be someone who is flirty and bring myself out of that shell, that part of shyness that I had, and
Mm-hmm.
it's journey of discovery, and he's my second
Mm-hmm.
main character. I've got other characters that uh, some of reference. There's one that I adopted a number of years ago who was kind of my first foray into an actual speaking character, who's a bright orange meerkat named Waji,
Mm.
built and owned by Sophie Cabra, Spainimation on Blue Sky. But
Okay.
it was kind of it's this it looks like Timon from The Lion King, but with a real scowling expression, real snarky look, and that kind of became like a foil. Well, she to her, as far as I know, it was like a foil to the whole. She was in the whole Lion King mutt situation where everyone's like, oh, being loving and family, and she was like the snarky character in there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt essential that I need to give this character a voice. And I picked I got this voice here. I stole it from The Simpsons. Don't tell him. Now tell your Aunt Wadji as if she cared. And yeah, I let her go in 2018 after I kind of explored what I could with her, and a friend Wild Fox had really taken a shine to her, and now she's his problem. But it helped me like get more vocal with and the kind of the snarky attitude got me to express more of being kind of cynical of sorts, but not to
Mm-hmm.
the point of being actually mean.
Mm-hmm.
But kind
That
of
key, that
like
key differentiator, right? Yeah.
yeah, kind of like be more less tactful, more to the point, I guess. Uh,
Hmm. It it's like you adopt these things, and as much as you're creating these characters, you're learning from them, even though they are your own creations. There's still, the more you embody them, the more you learn about yourself. But it's also like it's different from making a film or a piece of music or a piece of poetry, something like that, because when you express those things like a journal entry, all of a sudden that's outside of you and you can look at it and you can examine it. But with fursuiting, it's unique because you're embodying it. you're embodying these aspects of yourself.
Yeah,
So it's just
you're
this
kind of
constant living
exploring.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're exploring that part of yourself that wants to be expressed.
Hmm.
Now, funny thing is that one time at MFF, I had just spent like 2 hours out on set as out in the con space as Waji, and
Hmm.
someone back in the backstage is also saying, "Who's the idiot who said you couldn't talk in suit?" And I piped up after that and said, "It was me," and you're right. I just because there's so much
That's
to
amazing.
speaking to it, just
Uh-huh.
it just felt like it. Uh, crazy feels.
How many characters do you have at this point that are like original Yippee creations?
Hmm. I'm looking around the room here. Because they're crowding me out of my room, and
Uh-huh.
um, let's see, who have I created here? I got Twilight. I got
Mhm.
Baron, who's the German Shepherd pilot, who was like the only suit that I ever commissioned from scratch.
Mm.
Um, I don't perform many of my own characters anymore because I got Yippee and I got Twilight. Um, I have a wolf or husky that was intended to be kind of a an attempt at recharacterization of Richter, but I never got past making just a head for him, so I hadn't like embodied that. Uh,
Mhm.
I have a number of adopted characters that I've developed personalities for. One of them is a reindeer built by Sean Keller back in the 90s,
Damn.
named Walden, and I take him out for holiday stuff, and he's pretty elegant, but he's real tough to wear. He's got horrible vision, so when I would do when I did character park and event gigs with him, I'd kind of just prop me up against a wall so only can be attacked from three sides, and I have an
Hmm.
escort with me because I can't see, and especially
Mm.
in the dark.
God. S-
Of I do have well, I built a version of Techie Coyote from Lunatics Unleashed from the mid 2000s.
mhm.
And I built him for Comic Con. It's like my only appearance with in suit at Comic Con in San Diego. And the remarks I got there says, that this show, I don't know if you're familiar with it at all. It's kind of a cross between Looney Tunes, but as if they were like uh, given superhero powers and sort of like
Oh yeah, I
they had,
remember that show.
yeah, they had
Yeah.
individual colors like the Power Rangers or something. And
Yeah.
one of the remarks that I got out on the floor at Comic Con was like, "Thanks for ruining cartoons. What are you supposed to be, a Coyote Green Lantern or something?" But he was a fun experiment in suiting, and I occasionally bring him out. He's got
Yeah.
his fans.
So like like a half dozen of original characters, and then you have adopted several more on top of that is
Yeah,
what I'm garnering.
I
Yeah.
have a total of 20 now.
Yeah. There was, I think it was a couple years ago, when you once let Cooper Tom out to the AC floor dressed as Twilight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We did a suit swap that I was Rocket Wolf when we went out together.
What's that like embodying someone else's like known patented soda character? Like, is it,
It
especially when you see
mhm.
Twilight like inhabited by someone else? Is there, is it a matter of like them getting it right? Is it a matter of seeing what wild interpretation they have? Like, what is like the mind space when that
Yeah, I
happens?
try to keep my mind open to see how they interpret the character, what they see, what they, distill down from my performance into how they embody the character. And it's not very often. I've let a number of people wear Twilight, but oftentimes I will also go out and suit like it. I'll suit swap. But I won't like. It's rare that he goes out on his own. I'm with him just to see what people do. But it's just it's interesting to see people's take on the character, and
Right.
they usually don't do the voice
Hmm.
when I've seen people, but yeah, it's a pretty weird experience that I like giving people the chance to perform uh, it's weird seeing my own characters separate from
Hmm.
myself, and
Outside of yourself,
yeah,
sleep paralysis demons.
something like that. Yeah.
What one question I do have
Uh-huh.
is that you don't only exclusively have male characters, you also have female characters too, right?
I built one who doesn't perform anymore, and I rebuilt her and but sold the V2. So I still have the
Mm.
V1, but it's kind of in disrepair. I also adopted a character named Pachinko. She's a girl bunny with beige, white, and black with floppy ears. And I don't get her out all that much anymore, but she's fun. Just a whole different angle of performing and getting that let that inner female femininity come out. Like can be kind of I'm kind of gender fluid as a matter of
Hmm.
fact, as a matter of saying that but she's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just haven't had her out in a while.
I was always wondering because, like, I know that, Punk, you recently obtained your first, as far as I could tell, I believe it was your first female presenting costume, correct?
I've had a few. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I've played female characters over the years
Hmm.
with PBS and other places,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I always have fun because it's just again you're doing the character, right? Like the
Hmm.
character comes
You're
first.
not playing the gender, you're playing the character, right? Like
Yeah,
that's the
and
key
if they're
thing. That's
like
right, yeah.
hmm yeah, that's sassy or whatever, and like I've played Catatrina Kitty or whatever from Daniel Tiger a few times.
Oh.
And she's just this like she does ballet, so I'll try to learn how to do like little ballet stances and be very, proper and stuff. I've played
Hmm.
Rosita from Sesame Street a few times,
Oh, cool.
and she was really
Mm,
fun.
mhm.
Yeah.
So it just kind of takes. I like playing female characters as a male
Hmm.
if I can make it look convincing. If someone can think like, oh, that's a chick in the suit, I've done my
Hmm.
job. And it's really fun to just like mind fuck people like
Hmm.
that. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun when you can uh I think that might be why I don't like pursue doing drag because I want the character to be perceived as female, not as as a parody of a female.
Mm.
100%. And like to have that respectful distance to it as well. Right. It's very funny because I am a very big fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. For those who don't know, I do another
Hmm.
podcast called Worldwide Tea where we cover the international seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. It's me and one of the writers from the LA Times, Greg Elwood, and it's great. It's fantastic if you want to check it out. But we've been doing it for a while, and it's interesting because when I was coming into the fandom, I always had those words that RuPaul said of just like when you are in drag, it's not a matter of creating something, it's more about discovering who you really are. And
Hmm.
it just felt very similar to Sona's and whatnot. And as great as it is, I suck at makeup so much. I don't have any desire necessarily to do it. As much as I love the art form and the people who do it, I just 1,000% know it's like I have so many other things I do not need to even attempt poorly to even try this at this point. That said, there is a fur, and we're about to go to FWA, and there is a fur drag night, and I need to see that. I need to be there. It needs to happen definitively. Uh, but uh, to briefly pivot back to something that I know is near and dear to Punk's heart, given the fact that it's where his name Punky D Mouse largely comes from, Yippee, I need to ask you, what's it like performing as Pinky?
Oh my gosh.
and
It's
and
so
meeting the voice
oh
of Pinky.
Meeting the
oh
So
voice of
gosh,
Pinky, yes.
that was a crazy experience there. When I found out that Rob Paulsen was going to be guest of honor at AnswerCon, I
Hmm.
I said I have to be there and I have to bring Pinky.
Hmm.
I have a Pinky suit that a former Disney animator had built, and as far as I knew, he built it for conference, but got a stomach flu or something and had to go home and never got to debut it. and I adopted him around 98. And this was 2007 that I that just presented like the perfect opportunity. And oh my God, I didn't really get to converse with him, one on one at all. But
Hmm.
that sharing that stage moment of just, oh my God, it was just so overwhelming. Someone described me as walking on cloud nine when I got back to the dressing room, the staging room. It's
Oh.
like, and on the Sunday, I went out on the floor, and I felt kind of emboldened to. I got to do my Pinky impression, and I was just sort of borrowing it for the weekend. Just the whole experience, that whole weekend was just magical, magical that could be part of the whole convention experience, and not just for myself, but also for lots of people seeing Rob Paulsen with Pinky on stage. That was
Mhm.
Hmm.
must have been quite the trip. But yeah, it's incredible.
I I found that video and I sent it to Punk. I'm like, what a convergence of your interests. And he's like, I mean, I have already
I,
seen it. It's like,
yeah.
of course.
Of course, I remember like again early days of the fandom seeing that video. I'm just like and being like, oh my God, there's actually a Pinky fursuit. And I always say like, if you ever bring Pinky, I would love to wear him sometime so I could run around and just go off to like people. I think that'd
Yeah,
be great.
there'd been a
Mhm.
couple times I've had him out. I lent him to a friend to go to like Denver Comic Con. I didn't hear many words on that, but I've a friend up in Seattle who absolutely crushes on the character, and I brought him to Further Confusion last year just so he could experience that. And it's just crazy, it's incredible.
One of these
And I
days,
hope,
Punk.
hopefully someday.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah. Yeah. So, speaking of other cons, Confuzzled 2018 was very significant for you.
Yes, that was number 100. I think I was calculating uh, what my convention count was, and at the beginning of 2018, I think it was that if I went to if I played my cards right, I could that Confuzzle could be my 100th convention. And since I wanted to go to Confuzzle for like years,
Hmm.
and then I finally did it, that I made the thing happen. Uh, Brought some characters, and then afterward got to spend a few days out and tooling around London with
Hmm.
coincidentally the guy who was visiting last weekend, who's
Oh,
formerly
cool.
furry,
Nice.
real sweetheart.
For after doing 100 cons, and obviously you've done a lot more since then, but like after you hit that barrier of like 100, does the FurCon experience ever go away? Do you ever get jaded from it, or does it like only get better, or a secret fourth option?
It things are often very different from convention to convention the way each convention does, what they present, put together, and the experience of not just the hotel, but the convention of just who you meet out there and individual meetings of and happenings that happen that make each convention that have their own, charm to them.
Hmm. So just it like so for I think a lot of people they sometimes will have that first FurCon experience of just like kind of their eyes open and just taking the world around them though. You, does that have you had that feeling? Does that feeling ever go away or does it just get replaced with something else? That first con
Yeah,
experience.
it gets replaced as you find new experiences and meet new people and try new things. And I mean it, even though it's happened before, that everything is new again to just experience. And maybe for me, maybe I'm debuting a new character or trying a character I haven't worn in a while,
Hmm.
and just what I'm bringing out and how people react to them, and everything's its own experience, I think, and
Yeah.
what magic can happen in little moments like when someone expressed seeing there was such a delight seeing Yippee out at the convention, then you know doing his traditional, mascot not speaking thing and just looking so lively.
Yeah.
That one comment there about Yippee being out at FC that really touched me of being, hey, I'm doing something right here.
Hmm. Well, did you have certain feelings the first time that either Yippee or Twilight got recognized just on their own from people you don't know?
Um, I think uh, one thing I used to Twilight used to do appearances at a local kids park in Oakland, uh, and was kind of the unofficial Easter Bunny in the Oakland area
Oh,
for
hell
a
yeah.
number of years. And when I would hear, I brought another bunny one year, and I'd heard that people in the front office were asking about Twilight, and that was kind of like, whoa, it kind of was mind blowing because it's like I'm just kind of putting it out there, and
Hmm.
but when you do it for 9 years, people will remember you, and that just kind of blew my mind of just yeah, wow.
Yeah. Well, I have two final questions before we open it up to if Punk has anything, and then we get into our final rapid fire round. So we're
Oh,
almost there. I so
okay.
appreciate you being in it
Yeah,
and with me. I'm so
we could
great
talk for
about it.
hours.
I know exactly, exactly, and like I'm just for the record, I'm like smiling ear to ear hearing all these stories. Like
Awesome.
I'm just delighted by this. Uh, what was, and I guess potentially more accurately, what happened to Critters by the Bay?
Mm.
Well, we started as a way for people to perform and get be well, we didn't use the word furry to be furry characters out and about.
Hmm.
And we figured that I was kind of going from a more community oriented thing. That's how we started doing the theme park Oakland gig. We had some people just wanted to be furry and just pal around, and that's for that other people had started like doing bowling meets or mini golf meets or whatever. But this is more character character oriented. But over time, people got busy, and it was difficult to really, not kind of find new people, but more, I've heard people saying that critters are kind of like gatekeeping, but it's like we wanted to like encourage people to participate, but also, adhere to what our character performing rules are. So, and it was tough, just kind of riding that line. And eventually, over time, a lot of people they'd gone their own ways, did their own thing, and it came down to a smaller crew doing occasional appearances, and it's just got difficult finding new venues and things that
Hmm.
we dwindled down to only a couple appearances a year, and uh, now it's kind of just I don't know. I'm not sure what we do anymore. We
Yeah.
haven't done the Oakland park in a while. New management and all.
Hmm. But at some point, maybe it might come back.
Yeah, I have to link you to the article that the outgoing uh, director had written about Twilight, about the story that
Yeah.
it would have been 10 years in a row, but I got stuck in Florida because of some weird weather. It says, Act of God strands purple bunny.
Listen, that is the name of my biography. That is the I have that tattooed on me somewhere. I think that
Perfect.
totally understand. Well, to that end, actually, that leads perfectly into my other question I have, because goddamn, I have to know. I have to know, what is it like fursuiting at fucking Burning Man?
Oh, whoa.
Outside of like the second question is how do you clean afterwards? Because I can only imagine. But most importantly, how was it like being there at the thing in the moment?
Oh my gosh. It was my first and only Burning Man I'd been to, so was not like prepared at all for this. And uh
You're bringing a hot suit to a hot desert, right?
Well, I you learn your limits, you learn your time frame, and it was rather on the mild side that year, 2023, when I went. I've like a really cool picture of Yippee out that a professional photographer had caught of me of out on the playa with the silhouette of the the giant man
Hmm.
sculpture out there in the background, but it's obscured by the dust winds crawling across. And I didn't foresee too much. I don't think I had to participate in the Billion Bunny March, of course, which
Hmm.
was kind of just like a number of people in bunny costumes of varying levels, down to
Yeah.
like
I think
some
some
people
people
wearing
just had bunny ears
yeah,
and it's
bunny
like,
ears
listen, I have
exactly.
the whole outfit. Come on, step up. Right. Yeah.
Oh man, it's pretty indescribable, but quite the experience of because one of the things about Burning Man is that there are no spectators. Everyone's a participant,
Hmm.
and being part of someone else's experience is seeing this giant bunny out in the desert. It's pretty wild, and yeah, words escape me.
Oh, good. No, it's totally okay. I'm just
But as far
stoked
as
it even happened. Yeah.
yeah, as far as cleaning, well, um, I brought Yippee version 1 out of retirement.
Hmm.
That one I
Smart move.
built in 96, and though his feet had deteriorated, so I ended up using the newer feet that I built in 2014.
Hmm.
But I had he was starting to crumble on the inside, so I had to reinforce that with sheet foam to like um, keep the crumbling parts to away from my face.
Yes.
That he cleaned up pretty well once I was done. That you get the dust. It's not really dust. It's not really sand. It's particles of uh, I think it's of gypsum, the kind of stuff that they accumulate to make concrete out of. So it's practically like it's drywall dust, and that stuff gets in everywhere. Thankfully, I was able to
Fun.
like vacuum the Jeebus out of that thing and got everything wearable. Twilight, I only have one Twilight, so I brought him out there, uh,
Hmm.
but I did manage to get him cleaned up as well. Uh, Thankfully, I have sandals for him, so that took the brunt of the
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 foot
surface.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Good.
yeah, that was I really want to bring my kind of spirit guardians with me,
Yeah.
along with me on this exploration. It's just
Was it transformative, Burning Man?
uh, I think to some extent that just brought a whole new um perspective on things that and it's kind of like melded into my psyche that I can't quite pick out, what aspects of it there are. Just there's
Hmm.
so much more out there to become part of, and ways of expressing yourself.
Hmm. It's it's weird because like to kind of get a little bit out of just the furry mindset for a quick
Hmm.
second, like I as I meet people in this fandom and as I talk to people and hear their stories, it's like I think at some point people had this idea, and this is just people in general, this idea that they would reach a point of like, I'm a child, now I'm an adult, that they would just hit this wall, they would just be this static person stuck in time, that they would be this fulfill this role or whatever. And that is absolutely not the fucking case at all, because we are all these constantly evolving, constantly changing things. Even though there are times when it doesn't feel like it, even though COVID may have happened, like, oh, I wasted a year or whatever, but like people were stuck inside and had to self-reflect and see parts of themselves, whether they were 16 or whether they were 25 or whether they were 70 or whatever. Like people are constantly changing. I think I speak to a lot of that too, because here I am as a goddamn furry at the age of 41. Like this is like, not a pivot I envisioned my life taking, but yet here we are. It's just like, like, well, yep, that happened. So we're just rolling with it. Uh, but it's just like, like when you describe that feeling of just like, the summation of it, like, yeah, you're never going to cease being the same person, or you're never going to be the same person always. You're always going to change and evolve. And I think the people that try and fight that, I think, have more difficulty in life than those who kind of embrace that it'll always be changing and static. I don't know. That's just kind of my open speculation about that.
Yeah, we are constantly evolving, that we don't have to be static beings, that there's so much more life has to offer and explore and discover about ourselves. I think that's what furry is, furry and life is generally about, that,
Hmm.
of exploring, discovering, inventing in yourself.
Hmm.
That's the big journey of it, the journey of life, figuring
Yeah.
out who you are.
Yeah. And thankfully, I know exactly who I am. I'm the host of this podcast, and it's great. I'm kidding. But
You're
before
kidding?
we,
You're not the host of this podcast?
it was all a ruse. It was all my secret
Yeah.
podcasting sona the whole
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Well,
Thank you,
before we,
Punk. What am I walking into?
yeah, Punk laid this trap for you this whole time, very Pinky style. Uh,
Very.
Narf.
uh,
Off.
the Narf off. I want bets in the comments below. Let me see. Let me see how we're doing. Before we get into our final bit, which is the rapid fire Q&A, before we end this episode, uh, Punk, I want to double check. Were there any other outstanding questions that you had for our incredible guest?
Um, I guess the only question, I guess, from a performance standpoint is because you did both sports and theme parks,
Hmm.
which do you think was more fun, or did you have more fun with?
Oh, that's kind of apples and oranges thinking there, that with that they have common elements. Some of the mascotting things that I got involved with were pretty incredible. Just, being able to interact with a crowd as a crowd and work a crowd, that at the raise of a paw that you could get an entire section to
Mm,
cheer for you. That kind of macro interaction feeling to it is kind of rare with theme park and furry. Uh, the closest I've found is playing being in fursuit parades and interacting with getting a section of crowd to like all react to you, and that feeling of like kind of power and area of effect, I guess. That but with the theme park stuff was more about the individual interactions and how you can become the character, um, and become what someone imagines you as to fulfill that role that you've been fortunate to portray here. And just the individual interactions and heartwarming moments. It's a thing of moments there.
mm,
And the idea of how that might affect people later on. And it's like, you came off set with a smile on, and it's sending seeds of positivity out into the world. And maybe occasionally you might hear about it later on, of some guy telling his um, kid, that or little brother, that this is the bunny that I got to see a number of years ago, and was really cool. But yeah, this a lot of different experiences out there, and I've been
mm.
Yeah.
blessed to be able to you know experience those.
Is it ever weird, like if someone comes up to you and it's just like you're the reason I got into the fandom? Does
Oh
that
God.
experience it?
I could probably name probably a dozen people who have said that, of different things. Of at least three or four of them have said, I found furry from looking for pictures of Richter.
Oh,
Really,
oh.
people
Yeah.
like the I think they might come from like maybe a Power Rangers kind of um place, and have this, they're
Hmm.
searching for other characters. They see Richter and it's like, oh, this is cool, and look for more, and then find my No Frills gallery site of photos I've collected.
Yeah.
And just from there they found furry.
That's incredible. I genuinely love that. That's so great. Well, Yippee, the last thing we need to do before we wrap this up,
Uh-oh.
and again, if
All
you're around
right.
to stick around for a after hours mini
Yep.
sode, we're
Oh,
always
yep.
down to do that too. But the last thing before we go, rapid fire round, get ready, strap in. First thing that comes to mind, pause or Moz.
Pause.
All right. What is the best Fortnite furry avatar?
Ooh, tough one. I gotta go with Wendell.
I
Yeah.
mean, come
You said top of my
on.
head. You said top of
Right,
my head.
exactly. I mean, come on, like the material's right there. It's fantastic, right?
Hmm.
Uh, what is the best Duran Duran song?
I had a favorite that I forgot, but I like a lot of them. But if you
Uh-huh.
had top of my head, Hungry Like the Wolf, because this we're talking furry, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. Okay. Does Dark Side of the Moon sync up with Wizard of Oz at all?
I've tried it once, and it does to some extent, but it's hard to judge if it's like just, coincidental.
I know. Yeah, I get that. And last but not least for you, if you were to pick a guest to be on this podcast, now that you've been through the gauntlet, you know what it's all about. Who would you recommend for us to check out?
Ooh, that's a number of people that first comes to mind is Croc, my longtime partner friend. He's
Yeah.
he's full of a lot of wisdom as well as big mascot and music enthusiast.
Yeah.
And he's reachable on Blue Sky at Audio Dial, which I think is also his Telegram, maybe. I don't
hmm
remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good one. Other folks, when you mention Burning Man, two people come to mind. One of them, Trippy Collie.
Mm.
Trip E. Collie. He'd been a number of times, and the crazy story, maybe I ought to leave it for him, where he like saw someone at a French bus stop saw his picture from Burning Man, and that led to a whole crazy story of how he ended up going to the whatever festival that there was advertising for with the costume, and he's got a whole adventure story on that. Uh,
Ooh.
Okay.
Another is Zarafa, who is a longtime Burning Man participant, and that's kind of how he found furry. I think he was like in his 50s when he found furry. So you talk about people, finding furry late and it changed between furry and Burning Man, it's changed his life, and he's got whole stories there.
That's awesome.
And he's purple, a giraffe, purple giraffe.
Yeah, and a giraffe Sona in this fandom? Come
Oh
on,
yeah.
like that. Listen, I really appreciate giraffe Sonas. I really feel like they're sticking their neck out for us, and that's all I could
Oh!
ask for.
Hey, but dudes.
It was right there. How could I
Honestly,
not?
I give you props. You made it almost an hour without a pun.
Almost. He said positivity multiple times, and I just won't always want to highlight the paw. But you know, one thing at
Oh.
a time, one day at a time. Most importantly, Yippee Coyote. I think for both of us, I can say definitively, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
It has been an absolute delight. And I think people can find you on most socials at Yip Coyote, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly on Blue Sky, Telegram if you're
Yeah.
feeling daring. I don't know. I
Exactly.
sometimes it's just don't answer on Telegram, but you've been warned.
You've been warned.
Yeah.
Exactly. But most importantly, everybody, thank you so much for listening to us as well. We appreciate it. If you could do us all a favor, it's a very simple thing, but wherever you're listening to this, on the YouTubes, on the Spotify's, whatever, leave us a thumbs up, a rating. I hate asking for that stuff, but that stuff really does help with discoverability. So just do us that
Mhm.
simple kindness. We'll always be back for more. Remember, pretty much all Sonas have ears. That's how you listen to this podcast. Thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.